plus units?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're going to cover multifamily. Mike, I see you here. I'm actually getting this ready for you, my man, because I know that's your focus. So
thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. So like multifamily, if I think about multifamily in the sense of 2 to 4 units, it's not really any different than single family. It's just another door, It's just a duplex. Like I've done, I've bought portfolios of duplexes, which is single family, but it technically was a commercial DSCR loan, but it was because there were so many properties involved, it was still classified as commercial. But the underwriting of that is pretty much the literally single family, because a duplex is literally, it's just like double the rent, right? I mean, there's nothing that really needs to change. So I'm talking more of like true multifamily, more like commercial, when it's a different language. Now we're talking about cap rates, right? That's really the focus. We're talking about cap rates. We're talking about NOI. That's the kind of underwriting. At the end of the day, it's all revenue. It's revenue. What are you going to get in income from the tenants? And what are you going to operate the property from? And what's your debt service? Like, no matter what asset class, single family, multifamily, or small multifamily, large multifamily, commercial, RV parks, like it is literally, it all comes down to money coming in, money coming out. It's just semantics and how it's presented, and you get into little nuances, and every, asset class has, things that obviously are important and you need to focus on. And yes, it'd be helpful, but really at the end of the day, I could take, an RV park and still jam that into a single family type of underwriting model. It's just not ideal. Obviously, you'd rather have something that's more tailored to the asset class that you're underwriting. So that's really what I'm going to be covering today, and just doing it through live screen share and building out things. So go ahead and share my screen, and then just ask any questions as you anything comes up. Or if you have anything, like as you're watching me do this, that you're like, man, I really wish it would look like this, then now would be that time to tell me, because I'm building this out. Okay, cool. So let me actually move my StreamYard here to another tab. Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm building out this multifamily calculator here. It's still pretty rough. I'm actually going to pull up my, I won't share this because it's sensitive data, but I have an Excel underwriting model. It actually wasn't really that good. It was something that I just slapped together. This was for Duran Levy's multifamily project, or he did a like really big, large new development project that he raised money on fractional for. I think we have enough. Like, I think we're not quite full funding yet. I think we need like another 100K, but we're pretty close to full funding. But I'm going to look at that underwriting too, because it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's going to be a $40+ million asset in a few years down the road. So that'll be a good one for me to look at, to kind of build into this underwriting model. And that one's probably a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably do something like a new construction. So if I look at the underwriting models that I'm building out here, so it starts off with the asset class, right? So you can have single family, multifamily, which really needs to be, this says 2 to 4, but it really needs to be commercial multifamily. I think if you're doing 2 to 4, honestly, you should just underwrite single family, because it's literally the same thing. I'll probably end up doing like a new development or new construction multifamily, because the project that he has, the underwriting is different because it's a new build. So I'm kind of using that as a reference, but I am going to kind of build out what that looks like here. And right now it's kind of just a mess, and I'm working on tweaking it. So again, I don't have any set agenda as far as like training. This is literally just me building it in real time. And if you got any questions just along the way as you're watching, just literally feel free to interrupt and as I'm kind of building things out. Let me see. Do I have my? Oh, I got my crappy audio on. Hold on 1 second. I gotta spend all this money on a mic. I better be using it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Is this thing on? Yeah, it should be on. Why do we have so many? Okay, so hopefully you should hear me a lot. Do I sound a lot cooler now? No. We're just gonna pretend it. Oh, you can't even hear me? Maybe I just messed up my. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. I should sound cooler now. I should sound cooler. Okay. Cool.
Placebo effect.
Yeah, there you Exactly. Okay. So when I'm looking at multifamily, there's a couple things. There's like the pie in the sky that the seller is usually asking for. And then there's where you want to buy it at. And then there's where you want to exit at. So that's what I'm looking at here on the front end. And I'm trying to piece together what this ends up being, which is going to be really, really cool. I'll show you in a second. So this is just some made up numbers. I don't have any like specific deal at the moment. Actually, I do have someone's DM'd me something to take a look at, so I can pull that up. It was a multifamily. Let me look at it. It was an off market like hotel or something like that. 9 million sellers willing to finance 25% down. So it's a days in Florida. 9 million with a 4% fee. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna assume interest rate. Like I don't know what that means. The NOI is 1.23 million, cap rate 7.42%. So I need a little bit more information than that, but I can use something like that to look into. So we got a 1.213 NOI, and the cap rate. So I'm going to put that. They put cap rate 7.42%. So I'm going to put 7.42%. I put way too many digits here. 1.213. Yep, there you go. Okay. So that would tell me right off the bat that they're asking for $16.34 million, because that's basically taking the cap rate and the current NOI, assuming that's, I'm using the information they're telling me.
Yeah.
And depending on the asset, or the asset class, and then the area, like I would want to know, okay, what is the average cap rate in that area? Maybe 7.4 is appropriate. Maybe I think it should be 8. So that would give me a glide path for me to understand, okay, they want 16.3, but for me to get this as a good deal, I think it needs to be at 8. And I may want to exit at, 7.5 or 7, or whatever your risk tolerance is, right? So if we just leave this at 7.5, we can put it at that. And so this gives, and I may change the way this looks. This is where I landed at this morning, or not this morning, earlier. So I may adjust this, because it looks like there's some weird things going on here. So the purchase price obviously is not going to be $1 million. That's why it's being thrown off so much. So I'm thinking I'll kind of leave that. I want to make this like super user friendly, so what, like someone who doesn't know anything about underwriting can use this. I feel like this purchase price should probably pre-populate based on this NOI, but I'll leave that there for now. And we'll just say that it's worth, I'll just leave it this. Actually, we should probably make it worth less than that. Let's make it worth 15.5. Okay. So the current NOI.
You think your calculator could maybe have any flags for a market? Because I think like with multifamily, market is like one of the most important things, right? Starting out at the top, looking at jobs, population, the trends. I don't know if that's something that could be worked in here to kind of flag the market as, if you're selling
Yeah.
a property in an 85,000 market versus, a 2 million market, it's just it could be identical building sizes but it's just different, right? The one that's in a more populated market is very likely
Yeah.
more.
Do you know of any like service that does that? Because I could tie in like an API, but then someone would have
Like,
to like do that.
when I research markets, I use like bestplaces.net, and then there's another one, data.io. But those are kind of places that I go to get market data. My logic is right. I look at markets as like the tides, like rising tides lifts all boats, right? You just don't want to be in a bad market. So I guess best places, data.io, those would have some information that you could bring in, but then you've got to determine how to like flag the market as, like, if it's under a certain population, maybe it's red, another one's yellow, another's green. But I would imagine I had someone send me a deal here recently. I'm in North Carolina. They sent me a deal in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Some of you guys may have seen it in the Sub2 network, 75 unit. You pull that market up and you look at the demographics and the population. I immediately know, like, I didn't want anything to do with that market. I didn't care. It was a 10 cap or close to an 11 cap, but for me, it was like, that's just a lot of problems. Like, I wouldn't even buy there. So just an idea. I'm just kidding.
I'm having trouble finding data.io where.
Yeah, let me see if I have it in my bookmarks. Let me pull it up here. I'm gonna send you the
Okay, cool.
bookmarks.
Okay, so the immediate problem I realize here is it's saying negative 12.5 million appreciation, which obviously is wrong, but it's because this tab has not been populated yet. So I don't think I'm going to solve that tonight. I think I'm going to have to write this down on how would I don't think there's a way to do this without, this field, like this tab, like just has to be filled out. But what I want to do is prevent mass confusion of like, okay, why is this here? This
I
is
sent it to you in the chat.
Okay, cool. But if that's not the case, this number's not looking right because it hasn't been filled out properly yet. So I need a way to kind of maybe hide that number until this is filled out. So you would go through here and you would put in like your unit mix count. So if I had a bunch of 1 bedrooms, I would put in, okay, I got 10 1 bedrooms, which I probably need. We need to somehow kind of get to this $1 million NOI. And you can see here, if I kind of adjust this, again, this isn't a real deal that we're looking at. So I'm just literally just making up numbers. So if I had a mix of, let's say I had 15 units, that was a 1 bedroom, 20 units, that is a 2 bedroom. Let's say I had some studios in here. And then you can see that the NOI is being driven up, based on that. This would be so again, this is a motel. So I would probably do, if I was underwriting a motel, I want to test this to make sure it's working. So I'm not going to do it, but I would probably just use studios and do like, whatever the room count is, 120 or whatever that would be one of my questions as a follow-up. Okay. Like what's the door count on that, hotel, right? So if I kind of drive up this number to what I think, if we just try to get to something realistic, I'm just going to move this up till I get to something of like that 1 point. I think it was 1.2. Again, this is all just made up anyways. that's pretty close to where the NOI is currently. And that puts us right at that cap rate that that they're saying. So we got this 1.2 right here. And the cool part about this so far, assuming it works, is I put this exit. So if you want to have your exit in mind, whether that be 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, you always have to keep your exit in mind. That's really the value of the underwriting calculator that I think would beat any spreadsheet, because it's really hard to do in a spreadsheet. And I should have been recording. Oh yeah, I am recording my notes. Okay, cool. So it's really hard to do this in a spreadsheet, a lot easier to do this in programming. So if I put this exit in mind, what's pretty cool is what I'm playing with so far is it gives me a 3-year pro forma. But if I change this exit to be like, let's say 6 years, it builds it out for 6 years, which is pretty dope. Let me just make some room here. So it builds it out for 6 years. And if I want to do it for, let's say, 10 years, then it'll build out my schedule for 10 years. So if I have a 10-year exit plan, it will build that out for 10 years, which is pretty cool. So I can see that extrapolate out for 10 years. I assume it's doing some sort of compounded growth, but I didn't tell it to do that. So that's one of the things that I need to change here. So I'm going to open up ChatGPT here and get ready to write some prompting, because I need to be able to control this pro forma. I don't know how it's going from, what the assumption is on this year-over-year growth, but I have, I'm going to zero out this. I actually need a way to save this deal, because everything I'm doing right now, when I make a change, it's going to be blanked out, which is going to suck. On staging, I need a way to save current staging deal so my changes don't get lost. Anyone have any questions on that? Like from the multifamily stuff you've looked at, what is the market data is good feedback. It's probably not realistic unless there's a third party service that already kind of does that. Then I could pull that in. I could do that pretty easily if it was like an API, but I don't think I'd be able to source that data like in the software programmatically.
Is there anything in there for like the fees when you first purchase it, closing costs and everything else?
Not yet. Let me pull up my let me make another copy of this on my other screen. That's definitely on it on the other, because there's a couple tabs missing here, so that still need to be built out. So I got, let's see, if I pull up like one of my Morby method ones, it's missing an assumptions tab. I need to add that. And then, I would need to have like the breakdown of escrow. So I'm building this one out to be Morby method. That's what you want, right, Mike? What kind of deals are you looking at as far as like multifamily Morby methods? Are you looking at deals where you're coming out of pocket like with nothing, or are you going to sink some money into the deal? Do you want to get paid at closing? Like what kind of structure are you looking at?
So I found 2 different apartment buildings. One of them is a 16 unit that needed some work. The units were just kind of older. The rents were a little low. I was going to try to attempt to buy that with no money out of my pocket and use my own money for the repairs and everything else. But it's not financially, I don't think it's going to work out. And then there's another one that I'm looking at that's 28 units. The same thing. I'm trying to buy it with no money out of my pocket, but I think I'm going to have to fork out like 100 or 200 grand out of my pocket to get it done. But
gotcha.
I'm somewhat new, so I'm trying to figure out exactly all the expenses that I just spoke to a couple of different people today. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what a lot of people for DSCR loans are charging 1 or 2 points up front. There's attorney fees in certain places.
Yeah.
All the other stuff that's involved in it. That's why, without having that in place, you could really screw it up when you underwrite it because you don't know exactly what your overall financials. I mean, you know what you're paying for a building, but you don't know, on these things, it tends to add up.
Yeah, so if you look at now, this is what I'll eventually have it incorporated for the multifamily. But if you look at the stuff involved for this, is a good depiction of what's involved. You obviously have your earnest money, which is pretty standard, your down payment, but you have to like prepay your insurance policy in full. So that's a cost, right? That's a cost that people don't think about.
And the appraisal.
What's that?
The appraisal too. I see like almost everybody's asking that you got to pay for that up front.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm thinking now that you say that, I'm thinking this is missing. It's because I just always pay that out of pocket. I never really think to like put this in the summary because you do have to pay it out of pocket. Like you have no choice. And if you get into an appraisal in like a single family, it's like $500 or $700 or something like that. But in multifamily, if you start looking at larger asset classes,
gets in the thousands.
Obviously, it's more doors, right? It can get quite expensive. I mean, it could be in the several $1,000s,
Yeah.
So that's definitely, I need to, this Morby method one, I have this file locked because if I make changes to certain things, like it'll break other things. And I've spent so much freaking time on this one. Like I know it works really, really well and I don't want it to break. So I'm going to write that one down. Appraisal. I have to very carefully, almost surgically make changes to this one. Because I can inadvertently break stuff if I don't. So yeah, that should probably be added on here. But yeah, so you're going to prepay your insurance policy. You'll have every lender's different. You may have more, you may have less, but a lot of times, a lot of the loans I see, it's you're paying 3 months of taxes, 3 months of insurance. You may even have to prepay your mortgage payment sometimes, which really sucks. So, I mean, just in this little single family deal, I mean, we're looking at $3,000 extra that can catch someone by surprise. If you have an agent, obviously you got to consider that assignment fee, TC fee. If you have a TC, unless you're going to do it yourself, probably recommend having a TC. Then obviously you got your closing costs, your loan origination, that kind of stuff. And then if you're doing a Morby method, you have a second transaction that you got to worry about. So you got closing costs for that. It's pretty nominal. And then depending on, how you structure the deal, you would have that as well. So there's definitely, even in this transaction, which in this example, the purchase price was, wow, that's pretty low, $160. There's still like a good $6-7 grand of expenses here that most people don't even really know or think about. So obviously you can extrapolate that number to a larger asset class. It can get quite large, but that's what the multifamily thing will basically do. So that's what I'm working on, incorporating some of this stuff so you can kind of see that breakdown in addition to, because it's really the same. The financing structure, it's the exact same. The numbers are just going to be bigger, right? The only thing that I think needs to be added is kind of the things that I'm looking at here of like pro forma and kind of having a more structured forecast so you can figure out what your exit looks like. This, I haven't even looked at this. It's probably all wrong, but I like the concept of this as far as like, I want to see my exit, right? So I already know right now this is not right because I think I changed the exit to, it is on, I thought I changed that. So year 7. Oh, okay. It did update. But yeah, so I would look at this and be like, okay, my exit, I would expect to see this and say, okay, my exit is in year 7 based on the assumptions that I've made and the improvements and yada, yada, yada. this is what my NOI is going to be, which is, I know my exit cap rate. This is what the valuation is going to be. Then I'm going to calculate, okay, what's my loan payoff from all this debt, from the debt service, the mortgage that I'm getting, the seller finance, anything involved. What is all left over after it's all said and done? And this is going to help me land on my exit period, right? So if you negotiate a 5-year balloon and you look at the numbers and you're like underwater, then obviously you don't want to keep a 5-year balloon. You want that to be longer. So that's what we're intending to do here. So I really like this summary, so I want to keep that. But I'm building this out in kind of its own test page right now. No one has access to it but me, because I don't want to like break other stuff while I'm doing this.
That's fine.
But when I met you, I was like, yeah, I'll just throw that up. And I started getting into it and I was like, nope, I'm not just throw. It's a lot more than I thought.
So usually if you do apartment buildings that have more than 10 units, the loan structure changes, right? The interest rate goes up higher, and there's a few other things that change when you go to like the bigger units, from what I understood.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the lender. It depends on the experience. I mean, you're going to get hit really hard if you don't have the experience. Depends on the banking relationship. There's a lot of factors involved. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me if that's the case.
So are you planning on putting any part of that into the calculation or no?
I mean, that would be up to you, right? You would put that in here. Well, this needs to change, but you would put your own interest rate in there, right? Is that what you're saying, or what are you thinking?
Well, I'm just going to throw some numbers out there. So it was my understanding that if you're doing like 8 to 10 units, you're going to be somewhere in the 8.5 interest rate, and if you're going over 10, it jumps over 10. You know what I mean? Percent interest rate. So
I don't think so. I don't think that would be normal. But if you don't have experience in that unit count, that could be normal, right? It really just depends. I would, if that's what you're getting, I would be searching for different options.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I would expect it to be, because we have some commercial loans, and our interest rates are much more favorable than what I would get. Like, it's lower than we have a commercial property that's 20 acres downtown Indianapolis, and I mean, our interest rate's substantially lower than what I would normally get myself on a DSCR loan for a single family. But the LTV was like 65%. So like it was pretty low LTV because there was a ton of equity in it. So it all just depends. I mean, Duran's project, he's going to have a much, much lower interest rate. I mean, probably in the low 6s on his project. So it all depends. But if that's what they're telling you, it might be because I would assume you don't have experience in that, like unit count. Is that correct?
Yes and no. They weren't really looking at it. They were saying like if it was 8 to 10 units, it's a different type of loan versus 10 or over. So when you get to 10 over, it gets to like a bigger commercial loan, and the interest rates are higher.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were like marginally higher, but they should not be jumping like that. I would search for a different lender. These guys change their rules so much. Like, that's honestly why I literally just partner with brokers like Jada. Like, that's like, let her do that for a living. I don't want to do that for a living. I could spend my whole day trying to find a lender. And not just my whole day. I could spend my whole week trying to find a lender. Like, I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
Is it more expensive? Yes, but what's my time worth, right? I'd rather, they're a lot of times, they're going to find a better deal than I'm going to find. They're going to find the right lender versus, me just going with that one lender, like you said, that's a higher interest rate, and just taking it when, there's probably 4 or 5 other options out there that'll be a better fit.
Okay.
Okay. What else are you thinking?
So far, I think you got it pretty much covered. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, I mean it needs to be cleaned up, but I think it got a good like baseline of what this needs to look like.
Is it going to show anything for how much principal you paid at the end of it when you go to refinance it, or when you're dealing with the exit?
Are you talking about more on like the?
So if it's a DSCR loan, is it going to show you anything at the end, like how much you paid in interest and how much you paid in the principal, or is that something that you do separately?
Are you talking about? Let me see. I'm trying to think. You're talking about more like this, or what do you like when you are getting ready to cash out and refi?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So that'll be. Let's see. Where's that at? That'll be on the exit. This will be the loan payoffs. Maybe I'll expand on that a little more. Maybe this will be like first position seller finance, so you can kind of see the balance of everything. But this is pulling in the total. This isn't right now, but this will be pulling in the total because this would tell you, which obviously this doesn't look. Oh, it reset itself every time. Every time I move the page, because I don't have a save button on this right now, it resets itself. But essentially, this would be the year 7 or whatever exit period NOI, and then it's going to calculate the value, and then it's going to do, okay, here's my loan payoff, here's my loan, here's all my costs, and then it's going to tell me, okay, if I sell this in 7 years, my equity is going to be 3.3 million, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to have all that. I'll have cash on cash, all this stuff is not right now, but then DSCR, all that kind of stuff. So it should be pretty easy, honestly, to underwrite multifamily once I'm done with this, which I think, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'd want to say definitely by like Saturday, I'd probably have this pretty polished. There's some things that I need to kind of clean up as I'm going through this.
All right. Well, if you need a couple projects to input in there to get the numbers off, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely could use the help for sure. It's funny because I'll build something and then I'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. Even though like I have a lot of experience as I'm building it, I'm just like, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. But there's just something about getting a real deal in front of your face. So like when I have some real deals come through and I start underwriting and I'm like, you knucklehead, why didn't you think about this, this, and this? So like it always.
I try to do it on my own, and I ran into a few things where I was questioning myself. That's why I was asking if you were including them in this or not.
Yeah. So we'll definitely, if you got actual deals to kind of run through, that'll help point out any gaps or anything like that. But yeah, so far the single family with Morby method is pretty locked in. The sub 2 is I think it's pretty locked in now. Most of the multifamily, are you running into, because in my head, the multifamily is going to be a couple scenarios. It's going to be just straight up traditional, Morby method style, or seller financing. I don't think I'm going to do anything building a sub 2, at least not anytime soon, because I just don't see a lot of, at least for me, I don't think it would be very smart to do a lot of sub 2 multifamily, especially with the ones that they acquired the property with like a traditional bank. A lot of times the traditional banks on like larger multifamily only do like 5-year terms. So like I wouldn't want to acquire property on when it's got 3 years left.
I know.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, is just traditional structure, seller finance structure, and then Morby method. I'll start off with the Morby method. That's probably what you're looking at, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just
keep. Pretty much the two that I was looking at. I was going to do a 60-40 split, like a 60% DSCR and like a 40% seller carry, or something close to those numbers.
Yeah. So it'll essentially it'll essentially be like multifamily, and then you'll select Morby method, and then it'll open up that new calculator, and then I probably would want to have. I have to create the buy box for multifamily because I don't have that yet. So that way it can get the matching in there, because that's a pretty important feature. So you could see the matches on here.
Okay.
And that seems to be working pretty well so far on that. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean that's all I got for just kind of doing that kind of stuff. Outside that, I'm literally just going to be making these changes that we're talking about. And if you got any questions, feel free to plug in and ask.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just let me know what you got.
Well,
What's up? You're Zon, my man. I didn't see you there. My bad. I wasn't looking at my comments. What were you talking about? You said no previous one was better, bro? Which one are you talking about? When did you say that? Oh, that was like 30 minutes ago. He's probably asleep now. Okay, let's look at restructuring this. Okay. So the financing, this is just confusing to me. I don't know why let me go look at the Morby method one that I have on the financing. Okay. Let's change this. The financing structure. Yeah, I don't like this view at all. First one, give me a save button. Second one, take the financing tab on Morby method calculator and update the staging financing tab with the same user experience inputs and logic. Do not change any code to calculator. Make sure this file is locked, because I'm gonna give up on life if this thing gets changed. I've had so many issues with this. Okay, cool. Let's see. See screenshot for reference of what it needs to look like. All right. Because I want this exact thing in here that's on the Morby method calculator. Task 1. For staging only, page only, take the financing tab on more thing on deal page. Okay. Hopefully that, let's see, is there anything on here I don't want to go away? Okay, we're going to blow that up. I think I'm going to have a lot more consistency on the platform, because I'm using AI to make a lot of these changes, and I'll make a change here and it'll inadvertently change code in a different file and break something that I had no intention of even working on. So I created an AI like bot that his name's Roger. my wife wouldn't let me name our next kid Roger, so I named our AI bot Roger. It was a joke. I wasn't going to name our kid Roger, but I do think Roger's a cool name. So the AI bot is Roger. So we're going to wait for that to update. So I'm going to have these tests run every day at 3 a.m. to kind of like maintain things that are not broken. So I wrote down like a lot of the things that I consistently see that break on the platform, and it should go through and run tests every day. So if it's broken, you know, I can see it in the morning and see, oh, okay, it's broken. I need to go in and fix that. Try to be more proactive. Because I don't have access to anyone's data. Like if someone's logged in, like I don't see what you see. I only see what I see. So if there's I'll do stuff and it works perfectly for me, but my permissions as like the creator are different than someone else's permissions. So that's where we get into like bugs that show up that I don't even really know about unless someone sends me a screenshot. Okay, so I want to change this financing tab to clean this up because right now this doesn't make sense. It's taken a while. Let me look at what else we need to change. Okay. Now I need everything here in the assumptions tab, that all like makes sense to me to do. Let me look at these expenses. So, okay, utilities, repairs and maintenance, property taxes, insurance, payroll. So payroll should not be in NOI. If it is, it should be thrown out. Well, I guess it depends if that's property management or not. Where's property management? It's right there. Okay. So payroll and property management are in there. That needs to be. So we need to adjust that on So while that's loading, I'm going to get my next prompt ready for staging only. On the expenses tab, payroll is a field that should be removed. This should not be included in operating expenses factored into NOI. Okay, let's look at this pro forma. So we have gross rent, other income, vacancies, operating expenses. I need to expand this a little bit better. So this category name, we need to add task 1, task 2. We need to, for add category within the additional expense categories on the expenses tab, we need the ability to assign a category, which is either NOI or non-NOI. Let's see, how do I think about this? So someone could want to do a full breakdown of utilities and not just utilities. They may want to get into electric, water, sewer, trash. And they may want to have individual growth rates on percentages. We need to have the ability to assign a category which is either NOI or non-NOI. Based upon this category, it will tell the system to add it into operating expenses, which is included in NOI, or to be an expense that is below the NOI calculation. Task 3. Actually, that's kind of part of the same task. Also, each expense that is added needs a corresponding field for growth rate assumptions. So if someone wants to grow that expense by X percent each year, they can. Okay, so let me adjust that more. Task 2 for staging only on the expenses tab, have a new, how do I word this? Have a section that allows the user to use default growth rates. Actually, that should be in its own assumption tab. Stage. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's see what this did. Okay, so I should see this materially change. Why did it do that? I didn't ask it to do that. It looks close. Save progress. Okay, cool. On the expenses that allows the user to okay. Financing. Task 1, remove the equity down payment section on for staging only on financing tab. Remove the equity down payment section. It's not needed. So the bank financing, cash to seller. For cash to seller percentage. Make this default so if I go to profile settings, underwriting, I thought there was a cash to seller. It may be under buy boxes. It might be under buy boxes. Morby method, template, yes. Beginning cash to seller. Okay. How am I gonna do this? I feel like I gotta go do that before I can do this. Okay, what's gonna change in the multifamily buy box? A lot, actually. I don't know if I'm quite ready to do this. Okay, we're not gonna touch that right now. We'll fix that later. Remove that section because really I want this to be like 50. Interest rate. Interest only. I don't like the way that works. In for staging only on the financing tab. Pull the interest rate and loan terms inside the seller finance payment type. So those fields should only show on amortized and the interest only selections. I feel like it's going to butcher that, so I'm going to save that. Because I need to fix that in the Morby mapping calculator, actually, now that I look at it. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, on the expenses, yep. Have a section that allows user to use default growth rates for I think it'd be cool to have the growth rates of revenue on the have default for expenses. So if this has a value, then each category in task 3 will start off with the same percentage as this. Task 3. Task 4. For staging only. In the units tab, within each unit, mix, add a growth rate percentage field. So each unit mix type can have its own growth rate. Also have the ability to have just one overall growth rate percentage for the units that will be applied across the board unless changed individually inside the unit type. I'm asking it to do a lot here. We may be breaking stuff today. Okay, let's see what happened here. Removed equity down payment. Cool. You did absolutely nothing at what I asked you to do. That's great. You said you did this. It is still there. Please remove. Issue. Issue 1. Task 1. Task 2. Okay, moved interest rate and loan term. I'm a little worried about this one. Oh, it did it right. There we go. This actually did exactly what I wanted to do. Kind of shocked. Interest only. Okay, we need to change this. For staging only in financing tab. In financing tab. Okay, so for staging only in financing tab, rename, add, I feel like this is going to break stuff. I have to do it. Add a new option in seller financing. Add a new option that is called interest only amortized. In this option, you will keep the interest rate and loan terms and calculate the payment as such, only to be interest only and does not go towards the pay down of principal balance on any loan. The current field called interest only should be renamed to interest only custom. And this is where you will take the custom payment amount, in which this is only to be applied as an interest only payment, but on a custom amount. Well, that's going to break stuff for sure. So that's still thinking. I gave it a lot to do there. Let's see what else. It said it did that. It actually did a pretty good job at that. Banks financing. I feel like I asked to do way more than that. No, that was all I asked. Okay. Let me catch up on missed text. Oh, shit. Here. Okay, let's see what we broke. All right. Let's go one by one. I need to wait it. No, that's not it. Oh boy, where's my prompt? Okay. Remove the equity down payment. Wait, that's an old prompt. Okay. Payroll is not a field for expenses. Payroll's gone. Default growth rate. Task. Whoa. Hold on. Task 3 on the for staging only on the expenses tab. Move the default growth rate for custom expenses to the top of the page. Also rename it to default growth rate for all expenses. Make sure you apply this growth rate for all expenses. Well, shit. if this is selected. I feel like someone's going to want to restructure this, or they're going to want to have utilities growth rate, utility taxes growth rate, leasing growth rate. I actually want the ability to dynamically increase the growth rate for all inputs. So you may need to present this tab. Utilities. Property taxes. Two-column list. Is that right? Two-column list? Yeah, two-column list. Okay. For staging only, the payroll's removed. Done. This down payment. Okay. I think I already said to do that. On the expenses tab, have a section that allows a default growth rate. Okay, cool. Category name. Ew, that looks ugly. NOI. Non-NOI. It still looks ugly. Why would you do that? That's just not logical. Like, that looks hideous. That is what I want, though. Ooh. I didn't want it to show like that, but that's fine. Delete button works. We got to test all that, obviously. Okay. Task 1. For staging only. In the units tab, okay, we got to do some heavy testing on this one. Why do I need a button? I don't need a button. I just want it done. Maybe it'll do that by default. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, don't like that. This is turning into a monster calculator. Pretty excited for that. We've asked it to do a lot of changes. I didn't realize there was other people waiting. So if you've been waiting to ask me a question, I apologize. I just added everyone to the stage now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll remove everybody from the stage unless you have a question now. So it's just me. I'll leave you backstage. And if you have a question, just put it in the side chat. Okay. No, it's just me. Okay, let's see if we can get this. This is going to need some heavy testing. And get rid of all that. I'd like to have we're nowhere near this, but I'd like to have like a PDF summary that's like really slick. That looks really nice. That can be used as like your PML package or lender package. That'd be pretty cool. Easily be done. It's just I got to get all this stuff working first. What's going on, man? If you got a question, feel free to jump in, but I'm keeping most people backstage unless you got a question. You can ask me now. Otherwise, I'll just put you in the backstage, and then you can hit me up in the chat, and I can bring you on.
No. I just got my connection was weak, so I got kicked out. So I was just getting back into it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put something in the chat if you want to ask anything, and I can bring you back on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's hunt for these changes. Man, I'm like most excited for this multifamily calculator. This is going to be pretty cool. Let me respond to this person. Oh, we got some movement here. What do we got? What did we break? Okay. This freaking thing is just not going to remove it. Okay. I'm not sure how many times I have to tell you that. It's for staging only. On financing tab, remove the entire equity down payment section. It is not needed where it says down payment percentage. Remove that. Task 2. Okay, we asked it to add this. Amortized, custom only, principal only. Okay. Damn, we don't have a good breakdown of that right now. task. Is this on? Let me check. Is this on the sub2 calculator? Interest only. For on the staging page in financing tab, I better push these changes because I feel like I'm about to break something. On the staging page in financing tab for the seller financing payment type, I like the addition. I like the changes we made here. Go ahead and incorporate that in the Morby method calculator and the sub2 calculator, and just pray that we didn't break this. I'm going to have to test that. Okay. It's taken a while. Okay, what are all the other changes that we made? Units. This makes sense. Gotta test that more. Why would vacancy rate be right there? 8%. Vacancy rate should have been. Yeah, I don't like that. 6%. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's what I wanted. Perfect. Perfect. Just need to change the way that looks. Okay, that's coming along great. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of testing to do there. I'll be doing co-living calculator tomorrow. I'll get started on that. I need to have a good rough draft probably done tomorrow, but I would like to finish this too. So busy morning. I don't know how late I'm going to. Oh, it's already 11. I cannot edit Morby method. Okay, cool. However, I can update the sub2 calculator. Bro, why did you do that? I told you to remove it and you highlighted it and made it more prominent. Oh my gosh. You did not complete task 1. You instead renamed it investor equity contribution. Remove this section and do not show it again, and do not call it anything else. Just remove it, please. Task 2, implement for sub2 calculator. Let me make sure I want to do that. However, keep the current options displayed. Keep the current displayed how they are today in terms of them being laid out. It's not vertically, it's laid out horizontally, like the screenshot. I like this style, so keep that part. Okay, so what I don't like is I don't really know if I like this. In the sub2 calculator, also remove the calculation breakdown. $1.2 million NOI. Asking is 6.5, target 7.5, exit 7. Asking price is 18.6. Wow, there's so much stuff to do here. All right, let's look through all the other changes. Staging only, move the default growth rate, custom expenses, right? Oh, heck yeah. Got some awesome feedback. Okay, wait for that to update. This is taking a while. Okay. Could you just please get rid of this section for me? I'm tired of staring at it. Let me look at this other multifamily underwriting model, see what I'm missing. Okay, so we have a cost per building, target IRR. Current value would be here. Gosh, could it take any longer to do this? Holy cow. Okay, it looks like it's getting there. Ooh, this is a long list of changes. Cool. I'm happy with this progress, though. That was good progress tonight. I think I might shut it down here in a few minutes. I may send in one last prompt and kind of let that marinate, and then do some heavy testing tomorrow in the morning. Then we're going to do co-living. That'll be next. So if anyone's into co-living and has specific needs, happy to build out, what you would like to see. Okay, cool. It's making some updates here. You got one job. Well, you got two jobs. Job number 1. Yes, you removed it. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Okay, now let's check out the sub 2. Okay, so we got 3 options now. It didn't remove this. Okay, let's do some testing on this before I call it a day. All right, so we got 174, 851, 47. Interest rate at 4.5%. That would be 655. Well, that's not helpful. Oh, that's amortized. Interest only. This is not right. Oh, this is seller financing. Oh, yeah. Okay, interest only amortized. Right. Okay, got to really break this one down. Okay, amortized. So this would be 174, 851, 47. If this was amortized. At a 4.5% interest rate. The monthly payment would be $885.95. Cool. Okay. Perfect. Love that. Now let's see the seller financing on the refinance. There should be a pay down of the seller financing. So 152 at year 7, which we are originating today, basically. So that would be 2032. We better have robots by then. Okay. 151, 850. Yeah, that looks good. It's close enough. Okay, cool. Perfect. Test complete. Add a test for Roger. Test. I don't even know how to put this into words. Test the seller financing amount for each of the payment types and ensure that it calculates correctly and is flowing through the totals, such as if it is a principal only, it should calculate that as principal only and applied towards the overall debt payment based upon the exit maturity date. I don't know how it's going to understand what I'm saying. If it's interest only, then nothing should apply to outstanding balance. Okay, good luck, Roger. Good luck. Okay, interest only. So if I should go to this, I should see the 174 still. Perfect. And that payment. Oh, it was down here the whole time. I just didn't see it. Okay, that payment 885. That's payment should be 655. Oh. Okay. Interest only custom 300. So it should be here 300 and it should be here 300. That's interest only, so the principal payoff should be the same, which it is. Principal only payment now should be 300. Let's do 350. 350. So in 7 years, it should be 350 times 7, 29,400. Minus 29,400. 145. Boom, right there. Okay, that works. Save changes. Hey, what's going on, Randy? Appreciate you testing, man, hanging in with me as I break crap. I built an AI agent here that does testing for me, so hopefully there should be some more consistent. Well, who knows? Hopefully this works, but it should be some more consistent results and not breaking stuff inadvertently all the time. Okay, so let's go back to this. Task 1, remove this section from sub 2 deal. Task 2. All right, we're going to do something crazy. I'm going to unlock the holy grail of the Morby method calculator. Okay. The Morby method calculator is unlocked now. The things that have now been incorporated into the sub 2 calculator for the seller financing payment type, additional interest only, amortized interest only, custom, should now be incorporated into Morby method calculator. Do not change anything else other than what I am telling you to do right now, as if your life depends on it. And let's pray for the best. I don't like this. Was good for testing, but it's just in the way. I need that gone. I want to see this down here. Yeah, this looks way better. I like that. Okay, let me go back to the multifamily calculator. Look at some of those changes. Interest only, principal only. Yep. Seems to be working better. If it changes anything on the Morby method calculator, other than what I said, it will ruin my night. So let's not do that. It's moving. This is ugly. I need to. Doesn't look too bad when it's expanded, but I need to clean that up. And there's a lot on this multifamily one. Okay, let's go to this roadmap here. In progress. Yep. That's still about right. A little behind on this one. I'm going to put that realistically Friday. It needs to be in progress tomorrow. Come on, don't let me down. Don't let me down. What else is on here? Oh, that's done. The suspense is killing me. Oh, I actually have a Morby method to underwrite. Actually, I should go do that right now. Single family Morby method. I'm going to save this before it refreshes out on me. So it should be there. Okay, cool. All right, import from Zillow. Awesome, love that. It didn't import the bed and bath count, which is weird. 46208. I wish it would pull the address, but I haven't been able to get that to work. Oh, it's updating. Save. That cheap, 155. Okay. So let's go into this Morby method. It literally did nothing. Oh my gosh. Completely removed calculation breakdown. Okay, thank you. Amortized P&I. New interest only amortized. Bro, you did not add this. For Morby method calculator, these tasks were not completed. I don't see any changes. Please review and implement changes that are needed. Yeah, there should be. Yeah, this is definitely not right. Oh, this thing right here. Principal only. Yeah, this should not be showing. I feel like we're going to break some stuff. So I'm recording all my notes here on my Plaid device, which is really cool. I'm going to start making ebooks out of my notes. Giveaway as freebies. These notes are really just more for me, but on other stuff. We'll see how it goes. Oh my gosh. Let me read the full underwriting page. You're scaring me. Don't do that. Now I can see that. Let me fix both. Task 1. What was task 1? No, I didn't tell you that. Okay, let's go back to the calculator. Sub 2. Oh, this stupid thing still is here. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope for the best. Oh, buy box for multifamily. Do I have a buy box for co-living? I don't think I do I? No. Yep, we need to add that. Co-living buy box. Oof, I don't know, man. I'm gonna shoot. Might be wishful thinking by the end of this weekend. That'd be cool. Multifamily buy box. That's really a feature. Plans. What did I say? The 9th? Planned. Yeah, I had the co-living buy box. There's still so many buy boxes and underwriting calculators that are needed. It's crazy. I mean, I feel like after this weekend, I'd be halfway done, to be honest. The multifamily one's going to be huge. I thought it was going to be easy to implement. That's a pretty heavy lift, but we'll get it done. I mean, I'm already like 80% of the way there. Why is this airing out? I don't know why I'm wasting my time. I should be doing social media stuff right now. Always put my time to use. Killed multiple birds with many stones. Why can't I find this? Still taking its sweet time. Not sure what's going on with my Discord here. Nope, we got some movement. Some errors were detected. Oh boy. I am scared. Yes, cool. Got rid of that. That looks more cleaner. I like that. Oh, I forgot about this domain thing. I got to get that figured out. So I'm basically going to have the ability to blast out LOIs at scale here. Taking forever. Oh boy. Let's see what damage we caused. Please work. Please work. Kind of, hopefully. Okay. Morby method calculator. Move leave the interest rate and the loan term field inside the amortized P&I interest only amortized options, just like you did in staging and sub 2. Only change this and nothing else. And then we'll test it. Oh, shit. This guy asked me like 10 questions. Someone's asking me, how do I find wholesalers in Indianapolis? Hey, so my recommendation would be to go to the Sub 2 Facebook page. In the search bar, type in Indianapolis and just look. Just spend like 10 minutes reading all the posts. You're going to see people posting deals. I'm going to do it right now. Indianapolis, Indiana, comma, Indiana, obviously. Very first search, Trenton Bird posted a deal, Marion County. He's a wholesaler. Now, wholesalers sometimes may have, one-off deals in Indianapolis, but I just saw a second one. Anyone want a fourplex in Indianapolis? Oh, shit, I may want this. Hold on. I'll break even. Oh, I might need to look at that. Just keep scrolling. Sherry Lash, Sub 2 in Indianapolis, just posted. Floyd Fajardo just posted August 31st, Indianapolis. Got 3 rental properties in Indianapolis. Tyler Jackson. I mean, I've already found like 5 just now. So I would do that. And that will be your best bet on finding the resources you're looking for. All right, who else can I help here? Hey, happy to help out and point them in the right direction for whatever resources they're looking for. You'll have to reach out to me when they reach out to me, or when you know they reach out to me, because I get a lot of people reaching out to me on a daily basis. So I want to make sure that the people you're sending I'm not missing. Because if someone's asking me like a really super broad question and I don't have a quick answer for them, they're kind of deprioritized on my response list, and I'm usually not getting back to them very quick. And sometimes, honestly, I just may not get back to them ever. If they're just asking me questions like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I usually just don't respond. Um, if that makes sense. But yeah, happy to help. I can see the typo. Got this question. What keeps you busy these days? How can we help? What do you have? What missing pieces do you need? Man, I don't even know where to begin to answer that. I really need to get a better, more polished answer, because right now there's like a million things that flood my head. I need like a quick answer. Let me think on that. Hey, yeah, I'm from San Antonio, but I haven't been there in like 10 years, so I wouldn't really consider myself super familiar with that market. I live pretty far away. Now I'm in Indiana. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm open to a lot of different stuff, and I can probably help out with a lot of your underwriting needs if you have anything for that kind of asset class and other asset classes. That was kind of a shitty response, but oh well. Hey, if you're still working on that deal, can you send it to me on the platform so I can see it? I also need people to test sending deals to me, so that would be really helpful. If you could send it over, we can just test to see if it worked, and hopefully it's working and all that stuff. Let me know. Let's see. Wow, this thing has taken a long time. I was trying to go to bed 40 minutes ago. Okay. Let's underwrite this bad boy. Interest only. Yes. 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 Love it. Okay. Now we're in business. Let's do it. 155. I don't think this is working. Enter zip code, Bed Bath. 2 bed, 2 bath. 2 bed, 2 bath. I'd be shocked if this worked. Nope. Okay. I don't think I have this integration done yet. It's telling me that I don't have permission for Rentometer. I do have, and that I need to be Match Pro membership. Can you allow this for the admin user only? And can you make an exception for user of all right, we're going to skip the Renometer. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Two bed, two bath. Hold on. Let's guess. 155. Two bed, two bath. I'm going to say 1150. Oh, shoot. There is no way this is right. No way. Where is this located at? It actually looks pretty decent. Dude, there's no way. Unless this is in Fountain Square, there's no way. This is like in the heart of the ghetto. Like, there's no way. 27th Street? Yeah, not a chance. That's interesting because it's usually not wrong. Yeah, I want to view the pro report here. No way. What is this smoking today? Man, I kind of like lost trust in this just now. Yep, that I can get on board with. I still have a hard time believing that. I'm going to use 1400. That's probably pretty low too. I'm going to use 200. Ask ChatGPT. Randy, no, I have that issue fixed. I was actually able to, I don't know what in the world happened. I made some change and it inadvertently changed something wasn't even working on. So it was affecting deals. None of the deals were saving. So I was able to fix that. That is working now, hopefully. Unless you're talking about a different issue. Let me see if I can get this. Two bed, two bath. Okay, that's clearly not working yet. 2400. All want to say cash to seller. Nope, that's not high enough. That's about right. Seller finance payment. Okay, this is where we need to do testing. I'm not sure what you mean on that deal. Might have to clarify for the underwriting. Oh, you're saying just for me to underwrite or look at it. Yeah, if you can recreate that deal and send it to me, that would be helpful. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't tracking. Okay, so 85 to 50. At a 3% interest rate would be oh shit. This is not working. Oh wait, what was that? That is working. Okay, that's working. Hold on. What's going on here? Okay. Why is this showing as 150? What is default value is showing as monthly payment of 150 for seller financing. Why? It's defaulted to amortized P&I right now when it really should be defaulted to custom payment of $100 because my buy box has that as the default setting anyways, but why does it say 150? I think that's how it works. So my buy box should say, yeah, custom payment type, principal only, $100. So every deal should default to that. I don't know why it says 150. Cool. Good times. That wasn't helpful. When I open the deal, it defaults to amortized PI option. If that is the case, then it should be calculating that actual payment. However, it's showing the 150. So correct it. I have a feeling I may have to delete this one and start over. It does not appear that I'm going to sleep anytime soon. We need to put some tunes on for this one. I didn't realize my mic had turned off. That threshold of 90, it's way too high. It needs to be 80. Make sure that's saved. Yep. So this looks like a crappy deal as of right now, but we're still working our way through this. Like this should be defaulting too. Why is that not? I'm just going to delete this deal and start over. Because I want to test that this is, well, let's wait to see what this says. Wow. Could you take any longer for this change? Okay. Deal landing. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I like that. That's better. Okay. I'm still deleting this deal and starting over. All right. New deal. Single family. Morby method. Oh my gosh. What? I don't remember making these changes. Why is seller finance available now? What is going on? Okay, well, let's go back here. Single family. What are you doing? I didn't tell you to make that. Underwriting tab for strategy. Seller finance is now unlocked. I did not tell you to do that. Please lock that option back up as coming soon. Okay, we got to lock this file before this thing starts going crazy on me again. Where? Where on earth are you? Oh, this is concerning. Oh, wait, here we go. We're getting to it. There we go. Don't change anything. Okay, we're starting new deal. Import from Zillow. 2-bed, 2-bath. Indianapolis, Indiana, 46208. 1400. 2400. 1620. Nothing there. Save that deal just to be safe. The financing structure. Okay, what made you think 150 was okay? I did not say that. Now I got to open up that file again. The default. Financing. Seller financing. The default custom payment amount was 150. However, nowhere in my buy box was the custom payment amount saved as 150. By default, on every new deal, the underwriting calculator should pull in whatever the user has saved as their default in their buy box. For example, for Morby method, I have for Morby method, single family LTR, I have custom monthly payment of $100 saved under strategy template tab. That is the amount that should have been pulled in by default. All right, let's ignore that and just look at everything else. Okay, so if it was the seller finance amount is $108,500, 150 times 12 times 7. So it should be 95,900. Boom. Interest only should be 108,500. Boom. Interest only should still be 108,500. Boom. Amortized. That one's a tricky one. That one should be 8,500 at a 3% interest rate. Seven years should be around 90, close to 91,000. Yep, exactly. Okay, so this all appears to be working. We just need the right default values to pull in. Interest only, custom, principal only. This should be a much higher. Ooh, took a beating on that cash flow. I actually don't think my cash flow for Morby methods should be marked as that important. So let's take down the weight of that. And I want to focus more at cash at closing. Let's see if that change. It should theoretically change the algorithm of the match score. Okay. That's about where I would do this deal with this type of structure, losing $105. I mean, it's really nothing. I mean, it's not by no means a great deal, but I would do that. Problem is, I don't think they're going to take 30%. I wouldn't do that. Oh, shucks. That should match pretty. Yeah, that makes sense. That would make it more of a winner. So I'm going to save that deal because that's like a legit underwriting. But we need to test new deal, single family, Morby method. Wait, what? What just happened? Single family, Morby method. Phenomenal. Single fam. When I select as creative strategy now, it kicks back to the asset class instead of opening up the appropriate Oh, dang. I didn't realize I had a private chat in here. Whoops. Yes, we got a private chat here in the StreamYard live stream, which is the subscriber only, where I drop that link on my playbook. So if you're not a part of that playbook, this is my newsletter. It's free. There's no, no cost to that. And I do a lot of like behind the scenes content, free training that's only on the newsletter, weekly calls, that kind of stuff. So if you're not on it already, would be a good resource for you, and it's free. I found the issue when you select. Okay. Not sure why it's taking so long. All right, boom, boom, boom. All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so this is a new deal. So I should log in here. You suck. I just opened up a new deal. By default, it should pull in whatever my default is for seller financing. Currently, from my buy box related to that asset class and creative strategy. Currently, my default for single family, LTR, and Morby method is a custom payment amount of $100. When I open up the deal, it shows a default of amortized P and I, which is not correct. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. Yes, that is the issue. I'm glad we're on the same page now. I'm doing good. How are you, Moonstar? I'm hoping this is the fix that I've been waiting for. Come on, let's get this finished. Oh, all right. Let's see what we got. You suck. It did not load as. All right. I am calling it a wrap based on that. I think that's a good stopping point. Well, appreciate you. And if you haven't tested the software out, please give it a try because I could use all the help I can get on improving it. I think it's going to be like I've already seen. I haven't even had the chance to like take advantage of it yet. I'm just trying to get it functional, but here I'm going to say probably next week I'm going to start hammering it on being a user, and it's definitely going to improve things a lot for my business. So hopefully it does for yours, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.